The Afterlife Coach is all about how to advance in your spiritual life, but today we're going to talk about why. I was about 90 minutes into a Joe Rogan podcast when I was struck by this quote.
The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
It's the kind of obvious truth that makes you feel stupid for not thinking of it yourself. I mean, look at anyone who's considered the best in any category, sports, business, art. They're the best because they only wanted one thing. All their activities served that one thing, whatever it was, making success all but guaranteed. So why are so few of us even good at anything? You might say we want too many things instead of just one, so our efforts are too diffused. And you might be right, but I think that we do have one thing that we want more than anything else. The problem is that one thing that we want by default is comfort. That's it. That's why most of us are stuck just being lame. And people can't just think themselves out of this either. We become what we do, but doing takes motivation. So how can we escape this trap? If you can't force yourself to want anything more than comfort, which most of us can't, you can at least leverage your desire for comfort against your lack of motivation. For example, studying is hard, but we can motivate ourselves to do it for the chance to have a career, money, and therefore comfort in the future. That still only works in the short term, though. Anything that only lasts until death is short term. See, now we're getting to the point. Ultimately, the only way to have any comfort in the long term is to go to heaven, because the only alternative is eternal suffering. And who goes to heaven? Saints. And saints don't care about comfort. They only care about serving God. So how do we begin? By leveraging the fear of hell into motivation to act like a saint, with the intention of really becoming one. It's difficult, yeah, but there is really nothing else to do. In the end, nothing else matters. We all know that we're going to die. Spending our precious time and effort and money on anything besides ensuring a good eternal outcome is a terrible investment. I mean, if I knew that only one person in a million went to hell, then I'd be smart to do everything in my power to make sure that that person is not going to be me. Because the stakes are so unbelievably high. But the truth is scarier than that. We have data. Not very much, but it's consistent. We've got people who have seen their judgment and come back to life, saints who have received visions, and they all paint a bleak picture. The least scary report goes like this. St. Vincent Ferrer was told by one soul in heaven that at the hour when he died, 33,000 other people also died. And of those 33,000, 5 were saved. That's 0.015%. That number should terrify all of us. But isn't fear a bad source of motivation? Shouldn't we be living holy lives because we love God and we want to fulfill the purpose He made us for? Yes, obviously. But a pure love for God lies on the other side of fear. We have to face it and walk through it to get to a place where we don't need fear anymore. But I don't just want to scare you, I want to give you hope. So here's another statistic. The percent of the US population who are doctors is 0.03%. Now, why is that important? Well, how many people are trying to become doctors? If being a doctor was the most important thing to you, you would do what was necessary to get through med school and join that 0.03%, right? So then how many people are actually trying to be saved? I don't have an answer to that, but based on the numbers, I'd say that no one is going to heaven unless getting to heaven is the one thing that they care about the most. It's hard. And I have my doubts about anyone's ability to put forward the effort that it's going to take without knowing how hard it's going to be. And just in case you think that you don't need to know the odds, why do you think Christ told us? Strive to enter by the narrow gate, for many, I tell you, will seek to enter and will not be able. We've all heard that before, so why doesn't it scare us? Familiarity is my guess. That's why I'm here repackaging it in different words and drawing this scary picture. I'm trying to move you to action. Because there's no time to waste. Death is coming. And like any good investment, the best time to start working out your salvation is 20 years ago. And the second best time is today. Because on top of the uncertainty of when we will die, our ability to change diminishes with age. The older you get, the more your habits become second nature. Death is just the next step, the final choice, which we will make automatically, depending on how we conditioned our will throughout our lives. God made us out of eternal stuff, and He gave us the choice of what to do with it. We're going to live forever one way or another because of what we are, because of how we were made. We don't die, we persist forever in whichever way we decide to be. And when it comes to the most important decision of our existence, by far the greater number of people choose poorly, they choose hell. So there it is, that's why you should care. This channel is here to help with practical advice for sanctity in the modern world. But it can't do much good until you've decided that salvation is your one all-consuming mission in life.